How's it going, Blasters? We're going to bring you specifications you can relate to, like a hand sizing chart. Also going to have the detent on a knife instead of actually having just my personal opinion on it. And that's going to be something that's going to be a little bit unique about the channel, so you can have an educated decision on your purchases. This one is from Alliance Designs. This is the Ice Lite by Brian Efros. That's going to be this knife here. So this is a prototype, so you're not going to have any major use for it. We're trying to get it back to him in pristine condition as well. So that's going to be this knife here. So one thing good about edcgearsupply.com is you can actually do a payment plan. So if you find a knife that you absolutely love and need to have, but you don't have the total payment for it, you can break it down into 4 payments. So it actually is a little bit more manageable for you to pick up a knife that you just really love and not buy some other knives to kind of take its place. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. So let's get into it. So the Ice Lite comes in RWL 34, which is comparable to CPM 154. So the corrosion resistance on it is going to be about the 35th percentile, the hardness about 57th percentile, and then for the edge retention compared to the super steels, it's going to be about 57th percentile as well. So this perfect world situation, so there's going to be some variance if they do get heat treats incorrect or something else happens along the line, but just to give you an idea as far as what that is. So we're going to look at some of the other ones here too. So for the price point of that, that's where you're in the ballpark of something like this. This one's going to be the Medford Smooth Criminal, which is their button lock manual. And then this one they just wanted to show off. So one of the viewers said they want to see it. So there's a blur with a carbon fiber, silver twill carbon fiber inlay. And then we do have the mini Kryptonian with the death of all things scales on that one. So that's going to be the sizing for that as far as what you're seeing. And then we're going to also look at the hand sizing chart. So for an adult female hand, we're going to start off first and then roll into the adult male hand as well. So you can kind of get an idea as far as what that's going to be for you if you do decide to pick it up and you want to do that. So for this one, it's about 4.1 ounces for the weight. And then as far as the pull, as far as the detent for the knife itself, this one, it shoots out in like an automatic knife. I mean, this just has very distinct, very just confident deployment for the knife. So that's one thing that is really that stuck out quite a bit for the knife itself, as far as how crisp it actually deploys. So that's going to be about 1 pound 12 ounces. So that's actually the detent. So in the closed position, to actually get this blade to open, it's going to be about 1 pound and 12 ounces of weight to actually do that. The deployment methods you're going to have for it, it's going to be the thumb, and then you're also going to have the middle finger to deploy it. Then you can kind of do a pinch and roll on it. It gets a little bit more difficult because the lock bar is right there for the frame lock. And then you also do have just the traditional way to open it with 2 hands for this knife. So the pricing wise, so that's important to a lot of folks. So this is going to be $350. So if you're buying, or I guess if you're after Brian's work, and then that's probably is a deal for that. So if you're wanting to pick it up, this goes along with a lot of the styling cues for it as far as his pocket clip as well. So that's going to be $350. Also, the payment plan's available through edcgearsupply.com. So break it up. So that'd be $88 per month for 4 months, and then you could have the knife for yourself. So blade length is going to be about 2.89 inches. Drop point on it, it is a very steep flat grind from that edge. So the blade stock is a fairly thick blade stock for the knife. So the behind the edge thickness, though, so that's something that's going to be more important for other items other than paper. So if you're cutting just paper, opening letters, anything else, then don't worry about it. If you're going to be cutting anything further as far as more cardboard, other denser materials, that's where that's going to make a difference for you. But 4.5 sheets of paper behind the edge, basically about 17 thousandths behind the edge. And then the degree of release, so that's something I added in too. So basically from the point where you actually disengage to when it's actually on the actual blade for the detent ball. So this is going to be about 30 degrees. So that's okay for that. So I figured about 20 degrees or less is great. 30 degrees or up to 30 degrees is good, and then up to 40 degrees is something that's possibly maybe make some adjustments for it. So the only way to do it is going to be right hand tip up. So it does ride pretty high. So if you see in the picture there, as far as how that's going to be in your pocket, so you can kind of show it off in that sense, but it is not a deep carry clip for the knife. So right hand tip up, only carry for that. And then also for taking it out of your pocket is going to be one of the downsides, I would say, to it. It is fairly stiff for the actual retention for it. So the pants that I was using was a pair of shorts. Had a decent ridge around it as far as the pocket, but it took about 5 pounds, 4 ounces to actually pull it out of the pocket. So that's going to be fairly substantial for that. Granted, you could probably try and bend it a little bit for it, but for $350 and also being the prototype, I wasn't going to be doing any of that for myself. But I feel that's a little bit high for that pod clip. On the positive side, you're not going to lose it most likely. So I guess up to you as far as what you would like for that. So for buy, borrow, or avoid for this one, so depending if you love the design, so the action is fantastic for it. So on that note, I would say borrow or buy. So it's not a total avoid for it. It is one that Alliance is trying to bring in some designers' work on a more of a mainstream scale. They're also going to be having a budget line, so kind of keep an eye out for that. That's going to be kind of playing with drop as far as their price point for their knives too. So if you're looking at those things, if you also want to check out other knives from EDC Gear Supply, so check out the other video on the Baby Barlow, and I'll see you next time.